Okay, so as I speak, I'm going to address two groups of people. There are approximately 300 people here in the Museum of the Future stage in Dubai. And then for those of you who are joining in from Zoom, welcome, welcome. We have about 120-something countries on our Zoom line. We're averaging about 15,000 live participants on Zoom every single day. And so we're really excited about that. So as I'm speaking, I'm also going to be addressing the participants on Zoom. Now, one of the things that we do just before we wrap up our summits is we always present our 5-month degree program. For those of you who are here, what I'm going to be talking about for the next 45 minutes is the Mindvalley Social Media Micro Degree. This is the 5-month degree program where we work with all of the speakers who are on the Mindvalley stage. We work directly with people and we teach you how to become a superstar on social media. Social media is the new marketing. And so this is not just about visibility, this is really about growing a business. This whole program is about scaling businesses, scaling revenue, making money, getting your product or service out. If you feel this is not right for you, if this is not for you, you're free to exit right now, okay? So I'm going to be talking to the people who are here, who are interested in the program. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you everything we're covering, how the program works, the AI tools that are built into it, all the teachers who are involved. And I'll also be speaking to all of you on the Zoom line. So firstly, if you're here right now, then I know that I'm talking to the right people. So I want to give you a quick idea of the people who signed up for this event. There were 5 groups of people, and what I'd love for you to do, those of you who are on Zoom, is to put a number representing who you are. So roughly 26% of you are solo entrepreneurs. You're a business of one. 17% of you are employees who are deeply interested in social media. And then 13% are business owners. That means you have employees. 12% are coaches and consultants, and another 12% are freelancers and creators. Put a number in the Zoom so I can check it out, so I can see what number represents you. Amazing. So when we polled you guys to understand what were your biggest struggles, I want to share what we heard. 25% of you, so this was the number one problem, low reach. And I know that can sting, especially when you put so much effort into a video or a promotion. Another 23% said, you simply don't know what to post. I get that. I have days where I don't know what to post as well. There are ways and systems where you can conquer this belief. 14% of you said you are overwhelmed by the platforms. Again, very understandable. The algorithm is constantly changing. And not only is the algorithm constantly changing, but the tools available to you as a creator, the AI tools, seem to be getting different, better, more sophisticated every week. How on earth does someone keep track of all of this stuff? Especially if you're a solopreneur with your regular business to run. How do you keep track of all of the changes, the new practices, and create content and run your regular business? So if you just look at the first 3, how many of you here in the room can resonate with any of the first 3? Just raise your hand so I get a quick pulse. Okay, so know that you're not alone. These are the biggest 3 issues that people are having, but we can go further, okay? There is 12%, roughly 1 in 9, said, I cannot go from social media to revenue. We're going to show you how to get there. As I shared some of my numbers, if I send an email, even if the email is not directly talking about sales, I know on average the email will generate 54,000. Our best emails can generate 800 to 900,000 in revenue. Once you learn the model, it becomes repeatable. I know it's repeatable because I've been using some of these techniques for 22 years. When I started out, I did not have an 18-year-old son. Now I have an 18-year-old son. Life has changed so much. Same ideas have been consistent. 10% of you said, too much time, no return. If you are working on social media and it's taking too much time and not giving you enough of a return, it's not that social media is broken, your process is broken. I just came off the main stage here at Billion Follower Summit, where I spoke about what we can learn from F1 teams. There are processes you can learn that radically bring down your time. Did you know that a pit stop in 1950 for an F1 team, when the car would pull over to get the tires changed, the pit stop average time in 1950 was 67 seconds. Right now, it's 2 seconds. How did F1 teams go from 67 seconds to 2 seconds? It's not just about the process. It's about what can you eliminate from the process. And I spoke about how I got my process down to 17 minutes. That means I developed a process where if I get a WhatsApp message from my team, hey Vishen, here's a script, 3-minute script, we need you to record. I can go from nothing to the actual video on CapCut, edited, cleaned up, lighting, everything done by myself, no assistance, back to my team in Dropbox in 17 minutes flat. Once you have a process, you have power, and you have infinite time. You do not have to ever be concerned about time again, so you can go back and do your regular thing, your regular business. My regular business employs 237 people. I'm busy, but 17 minutes is what it takes right now on a daily basis to create a singular piece of content. Sometimes the content gets 50,000 views, sometimes it gets 2 million views. That part can be a little bit more unpredictable, but what I know is this: when you have the regular process, your learning cycle is faster. I used to get $1 million view video in 1 year. Now I get that in maybe 2 weeks because predictable process. So time no longer becomes an issue. Now let's go further, okay? Inconsistent growth. Again, when you get the process down to 17 minutes, it's no longer inconsistent. Algorithmic change. How do we solve this? When you're part of a group of 800 students and everyone in the group is sharing wisdom, and you have world-class teachers, for example, like Dominic, who are experts in the algorithmic models, you understand what changes to pay attention to and what you can just ignore. Then, of course, there's running out of ideas. This is a really interesting thing. There is a framework where you can take any speech, any insight, and you can break it down into what I call atoms. So there's a framework that I teach in Social Media Mastery where I take a random talk. It can even be a conversation with my son. I stick it into an AI, and the AI looks for what I call analogies, core ideas, quotes, stories, objections. These are called atomic bits of a speech. And then these atomic bits are mapped to each other. You feed it into an AI, and you say, I need a post for Teachers' Day focused on resilience. And the AI knows exactly what to extract. So this is a model that I now use, and it means that I have infinite ideas. I can come up with 100 ideas right now, any topic, any genre, in about 60 minutes. It's an AI retrieval system, but it starts with atomizing your brain. So every single objection has an answer. And I share this with you because so many people here who are creators, especially those of you who are founders, hate this. You're fed up. It's too time-consuming. There's a solution to everything. As Marie Forleo says, everything is figure-outable. So, what I want you to ask yourself first is this. Of the 3 days that you've been here witnessing this stage, share in the chat, what is your biggest breakthrough? I ask you to do that because from your biggest breakthrough, there's probably going to be a lot of insights that you will remind other people of. AEO, so one person said, I had no idea about this concept of AEO. Another person said, agents, AI assistants, no idea about that. I learned, says this person to Simon, that trust is more important than sales. I learned, said Kay, the importance of the founder website. RC said, I love learning about the concept of viral videos, and the chat is going and going and going. Thank you, guys. So what you just learned was quite powerful. And these are some of the things that we also got from you in our feedback yesterday. These are some of the people who shared insights and some of the key things that they said. I wanted to learn to resettle my nervous system. Isil said personal branding is more important than going viral for the sake of going viral. Your Lifestyle Diva said negative hooks work. Adrian and LV said, this is in response to one of yesterday's presentation, gold, best presentation yet. Sam said, format like Mission Impossible, same character, different story, repeatable. Okay, so I hope you guys appreciate your learnings. Now I want to share with you why these learnings are important. Social media, just like engineering or math, has formulas. We know these formulas. These formulas are teachable, they are repeatable. So way back in around 2018, 2019, I hired Brendan Kane to come in as a consultant. I just started getting in social media at that point. Instagram was my platform of choice, but it was very random and I hated it. And the randomness makes you hate it most because sometimes you just feel so ignored. It's not the platform, it's your ego. And so I wanted to understand why some people were getting viral hits and I was not. I hired Brendan Kane. And how Brendan Kane's company worked back then is that you hire him and his team sit down with your team for about an hour and a half a week. That was it. And they analyze what you're doing and they help you improve it. Okay, so that was really interesting. Now, we were paying $3,000 an hour for Brendan's team. That sounds wild, doesn't it? By the way, if we add that up, what we attempted to deliver to you over here is about $50,000 worth of knowledge. But I want to show you what happened with that knowledge. Within a few months of working with Brendan's team, I hit my first 100 million view video. Have you guys ever seen grocery store videos? Mine was the first one that took off. 100 million views. Front page of 9gag, front page of Reddit twice, made newspaper articles around the world. It was an expose of how companies like Ferrero Rocher and Nestle lie on their grocery store packaging. So it was an activism video. The goal wasn't to sell anything. I just wanted to raise awareness of junk marketing. But it got 100 million views. But here's the thing. The video was created and scripted in 15 minutes. It was shot in another 15 minutes because I knew the formula. And now, it's not uncommon for me to get 100 million view videos because I get the formula. And if you ever watch this video, you can find it. On YouTube, it's 3.5 million views, but where it got 100 million was people started sharing it in WhatsApp groups in Malaysia and India. In family WhatsApp groups, that's where the video spread. Every single thing in that video was a formula that I learned, a repeatable tactic from Brendan Kane. Key idea here is this: you can learn the formula. You don't have to be awkward about it. It's not about how you look. It's not about your accent. You can learn the formula. So this is how Brendan Kane, was able to help me with that. So firstly, he understands the system. And his philosophy is don't wing things. Apply predictable science. So when we created Social Media Mastery, we brought in Brendan Kane as one of our chief instructors. And when we started applying his predictable science to our students, they started winning as well. For example, Martin Gaspar, you can see the results came fast, he said. I tested 3 formats, posted 14 pieces. This is how you learn. Formats, posting frequency. So you have 3 different formats or 4 different formats. You learn the formats. You test out different hooks, say, and then you see what happens. Now look at the difference. Post 14, 3.7 million views and still growing. But once Martin finds out that format, he can repeat it over and over and over and over again. This is how many creators win. One format repeated. So how is it that this is done? Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are random. How many months have you been posting without seeing real results? I bet you're random. 2 months, 6 months, some of you probably posting for years. You're random. Now, what is that costing you? Because social media is the new marketing. So you're effectively halting the growth of your business. It's costing you clients. It's costing you revenue. For many of you, it's costing you impact. The world needs your voice, and you're not doing it. There are clients you're not getting. There's revenue you're not earning. There's impact you're not making because you are invisible, and you are invisible because you're winging it. You're being a frickin' amateur rather than training like a professional. Why are you even bothering? If you're going to wing it, don't bother. It's a waste of your time. But if you want to be a professional, learn the technique. So how much is staying invisible actually costing you? I want to share with you some stuff, right? So this is stuff that we found. I shared it with other marketers. They found the same thing. If you're running ads for your business and you're also posting in social media, the post doesn't have to even have to relate to your product. Your ad cost plummets. We're seeing it. Ad cost goes down by about 30% when I'm on social media sharing free advice. So this is how I was able to get 125,000 people to enroll to watch this stage. Because we're not just running ads, but I'm just, visible. When people see you and they recognize your face, what happens is your ad responsiveness goes up. You're not just a random person on the internet. So one of the things you'll see is, how many of you here are running ads? Raise your hand or put a yes in the chat. Okay, if you're running ads and you're going, why is Meta raising the price? Why is YouTube constantly raising the price? If you're visible, the price drops. Now, another thing that I found. So I invented the masterclass in 2008. Now a lot of people use that word. I created the first masterclass. It was for an educational product in 2008. Since then, I've sold close to $500 million worth of educational products through masterclasses. I pioneered that entire model. This is what I found. When I'm driving traffic to a masterclass, again through advertising, if I'm active on social media, more people sign up for the masterclass. By a vast number, 20 to 30% more signups and higher sign-up rates. Again, it's trust. So the more active you are, it's not about people forget this, founders forget that. They think it's the like. They think it's the heart. It's not. It's the trust. People don't have to even click your video, but if they're seeing your video, something is happening in the customer's brain, and they are more likely to buy what you have and sign up for your masterclass. Now, this is the craziest thing. I'm speaking to a lot of expert marketers, and they're all saying that. In the 1990s, it was believed that a customer has to see you 7 times before they buy your product. So that's how advertising ran. You would run ads on TV, on billboards, 7 times. Now, it's not 7 times. It's 20 to 30 times. 20 to 30 times. Every social media post, even if you're not pitching your product, counts for one of those times. Every time a customer shares your video, counts for one of those times. So I'll give you an example. I do marketing through email, okay? Email, you may think, completely unrelated to social media. But this past year, I decided to do something out of passion. I decided to write political posts in my email. I was really shocked by a video I saw of what was happening in Gaza. So I started writing about Gaza. Nothing to do with my product. Now, I did this because I wanted to raise awareness. On social media, I created a gentle appeal to President Trump to pay more attention to what was happening. And about, 500,000 people watched that video. So I did this. It was activism. It had nothing to do with my product. But what was really interesting is that revenue from email, okay, this is a core metric, revenue from email went up 54%. That is huge. The only way I can explain it is this: visibility counts. It doesn't have to be you about your product. It could be you about the environment. It could be you about something you stand for. It could be you with your kid. My most effective advertising this past year was a video I had my daughter film. And it was sloppy, it was real. She's like mucking around with it, like twisting the camera and showing her face. We ran that as an ad. It beat all the professional ads. Our professional ads were filmed at the Dubai Dome. Beat all of those ads. Visibility counts. So I want you to understand this. If you're an entrepreneur, social media, every little post, even if it's you doing Lego bricks with your kid, it counts for one of these 20x. It is no longer optional unless you want yourself and your product to stay invisible. But here's one more thing. This is about to increase. So there's a backlash happening in the world today, and this backlash is towards anything that can be replicable by AI. Okay, so online courses, recorded content, usage going down. We're seeing this on our app. Meditation with real human voices, usage is exploding. Why? Because there's a resonance in that real human voice. What we are seeing in our own company, recorded content with a speaker facing a camera and speaking, people don't care about. Live content on Zoom, explosion, 60% increase in purchases. Recorded content, 20% drop. Why? Because recorded content, any of you can create an AI clone using a tool like Delphi and just make that clone speak like you. And so the world doesn't trust it. But if you're live on Zoom and you're interacting in the comments as I am right now, and by the way, people on Zoom, this is really me. If you're live on Zoom, trust goes up. This year, we saw something really crazy. I used to not like doing events because events are really expensive. I preferred to teach via recordings. This year, event sales exploded 500% this past year, 2025. 500%. We opened up our event, Mind Valley University. In 3 days, the event is 1 year away. In 3 days, 55% of tickets were snapped up. 1 year ahead. Events. So anything that is real, people are paying attention to. Now, here's the wild thing. Anything that is human is getting attention. Anything that is not human is falling in attention and falling in trust. Companies are falling in trust. And the reason is because the cost of starting a company is no longer 5 years to 10 years. You can start a company in 1 month right now with new AI coding tools like Claude Code. I'm sure you've heard of things like vibe coding. We've gone beyond vibe coding, by the way. Vibe coding is now obsolete. Now you can build an actual functional AI product with no coding experience in about a week. Because of that, the cost of starting a business has become small. Now what's going to happen is there's going to be an influx of apps, influx of websites, but the thing that people are going to trust is the real human being. And so what I'm focused on right now is personal branding. And this is true for every founder. Don't worry about social media for your product or your company. People honestly don't give a damn. People want to follow the real human being. If you nail that, you can start a different app every month, a different service every month because the cost has gone down by about 50x, but you'll be able to direct traffic to it. This year, I'm starting 4 new companies in addition to Mind Valley. All of them are tech companies because the cost of tech has literally vanished. But what I have to pay attention to is, do I have trust? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm on stage. That's why we've delivered 3 days of free content to the 100,000 plus people who signed up. Trust is that commodity. And you earn that trust by serving. Okay, so all of you need to understand this. This is the new advertising model that we're going into. So, again, why does this matter? In the age of AI-generated content, trust and real human beings, the real you, is important. Consumers don't trust what they see, they trust what they feel, and founders are in a unique position to create feeling. This is why the video of me with my child beat conventional advertising. It evoked feeling. So this is not just about virality, it's about visibility. Visibility equals possibility. No visibility, no possibility. It's that simple. Think about your own life, right? Great job offers, amazing people you met. None of that happens if you're invisible, if you're in the shadows. It's so important that you step into the light. And I know this can feel tough because some of you So I want to read some of the things that I've heard you guys say. I'm just starting out. I have no following. Perfect. This program is designed for people like you. Because even if you're just starting out, randomness isn't going to serve you. Deliberate intent and process will. Number 2, I'm introverted. How many of you guys think you're an introvert? Okay. If you're an introvert, I'm one too, believe it or not. There are processes to overcome that introversion and still be creating. Because introversion cannot be an excuse for not making money, not being a visible entrepreneur or founder. Third, I've tried learning stuff, courses, systems. It didn't work. Well, maybe you just didn't pick the right learning. Or maybe at that particular point, there was other things going on in your life. What if we can make the learning inevitable, deliberate, because of effective coaching? That's what Mindvalley specializes in. So let's look at this case study, okay? Simina Zitu. So what happened with her is that she went from afraid to being seen to 2.7 million views and her first income from YouTube. So she's a student in our program last year. She said, in my adult life, I carried the wound of visibility, the fear of being seen, of speaking my truth, of being rejected or criticized for my insecurities. Thanks to this program, I discovered the true courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to act despite it. So if you're an introvert, if you're just starting out, act. You see, your customers need you to act. Because today, 87% of buying decisions are made due to social media. Your customers are studying your Instagram. They're studying your YouTube. And by the way, even if they are not, they are asking ChatGPT to advise them on great products. That's how people are shopping right now. And ChatGPT and Claude are studying these channels. So either way, your social media is important. Now, what you learned is powerful. But to really dominate in your niche, to become a founder with visibility, you need 3 things, okay? You need a system, and I've emphasized the importance of the system, but you also need coaching, because there will be BS in your brain that will prevent you from wanting to show up. And then you need accountability. All great people have an accountability coach. At one point in my life, I teach manifesting. It's one of my best-selling topics in my books. But I once paid $25,000 for a manifesting coach to work with me for 3 months. And the coach's only job was to ensure that I showed up for a call on Tuesday and Thursday to meditate with her and get clear on my goals. Because even me, I needed accountability. Because otherwise, as a father, as an entrepreneur, life kind of sucks you away. So what we know is that if we're building a program, it's not just about the system. You need coaching, mindset, so all our facilitators are trained in that, and you need accountability. So we create student groups and accountability plans so that you actually get things done. This is what I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you how this comes together in social media mastery. So firstly, did you enjoy the teachers? Amazing. So in the chat, I want you to put on your favorite teachers. Now, our program is designed to bring the knowledge of all of these teachers together to build real authority and be in the top 0.1% of people who can monetize their message. Think about what it means if you're in the top 0.1% of your field. Top 1.1% as a dentist, as a doctor, as an author, as a coach, as an entrepreneur selling a widget. Being in the top 0.1%, by the way, life is exponential. When you're in the top 0.1%, you are not like 100 times more successful than the others. You are 10,000 times more successful. It is exponential. The top 0.1% is a very, very, very powerful class to be in. This is designed to get you in that. Now, the reason most creators don't get there is most creators stay stuck under 1,000 followers because they lack a real system. This is true for pretty much everything in life. Now, Brendan Kane wanted to prove one day that systems matter. So he set himself a task. He had to get 1 million followers on Facebook. And back then, Brendan wasn't a trained speaker. But he had a process. He pulled it off. And he became one of the first people to go from 0 to 1 million fans on a Facebook group. Brendan took that and he created his institute, Hook Point Institute. This is one of the core teachings in social media mastery. So what Brendan and his team does is they analyze all the creators who are crushing it, but they also analyze what is not working. And as they analyze what is not working, there's a little glitch on my... As they analyze what is not working, they are able to... Isn't it funny when Macs do this in the middle of a presentation? Could someone come and help me with this one? Thank you, JD. As they analyze what they are not doing, they also are able to... there you go. They're also able to see patterns. They're able to see what frameworks work, what frameworks don't work. Why is it that two people who start with the same video, let's say chopping apples or chopping onions, why is it that two videos, similar ideas, one works, one doesn't work? And often it's something very subtle. It's a specific sound effect. It's the way the camera angle moves. They measure it, they teach the science. So they do this in social media mastery. So you learn to go really, really, really deep into each of these videos. There was a yoga teacher, I forgot what country she was in, who was in our program, and she wanted to blow up her yoga studio. What she learned from Brendan Kane's teaching is how to make her videos go viral, and she blew up her account with a very simple trick. You want to know what it was? She got 5 puppies, beautiful puppies, and she let the puppies run wild in the yoga studio. And so the videos of her yoga studio don't show people doing yoga poses. They show people trying to spread their legs and that little puppy running through them. Puppy yoga. It spread. She went from 0 awareness on social media to tens of thousands of fans. Again, the format matters. All good, JD? So when we bring up the screen, you'll see what I want to show, but I'm reading out another case study. So this is from Lisa K. Atkinson. What Lisa found is that there was a 71% increase in her revenue in 2025 compared to 2026. All she did was this. Lisa took the lessons that she was learning in social media mastery, started applying it to her regular business. So you may be thinking, whoa, I'm already an entrepreneur. Now I got to do social media? Well, if your business is growing by 71%, what do you think? This is what Lisa said. 71% increase in revenue, 40% increase in revenue year to date over the same period in 2024, 23% growth in my customer contact database. What's next? With these foundations in place, I'm beginning to tell stories of my clients, share styling ideas, and build a community and drive traffic to landing pages and quizzes. And I'm seeing a massive growth in my education company because of these quizzes. So let me just try to quickly fix this computer thing. Could we, we'll just unplug this. There you go. Click cancel. We're done. Put this back in. And now we can continue the slide presentation, okay? Would you mind running the slides again? JD, how do I run the slides? Yeah, I'll put it in. Okay, guys, we got this solved, so you should be able to see it now. Okay, you'll do it? Great. Okay, and we'll just move forward. Yes, we are good. Okay, so these are all of the formats that Brendan Kane and Hook Point Institute studied. And all of this knowledge becomes available to you. This is Lisa, whom I was talking about. Now another person, Gavin Ng, he was a coach, Bangkok, Thailand, joined the program. First viral video reached over 1 million views in just 2 weeks. Okay, so it's not luck, it's a sophisticated system. And if this is any of you, this system is going to work because we have applied this to thousands of students, founders and solo entrepreneurs, small business owners, CEOs. Yes, CEOs can be the best face for their business. Executives, coaches, authors, employees who work in social media or marketing, and working professionals. Another interesting case study. This is from Dr. Jasmine Walburn, who's a psychologist in Switzerland. She said the course has been a game changer. I no longer just post for the sake of it. I'm helping my clients post with purpose and seeing real results. She, because of this course, also ended up gaining the courage to be visible on stage, to own that stage when she's called up. Patricia Munster, who's a business owner in Netherlands, said she applied the tools and saw incredible results. Articles on the web. Her article gained over 25,000 impressions. So founder marketing is really the key to business success in 2026 and beyond, as I said, because people want people. So now, about this program, you don't have to say yes. You only have to say maybe. Because what we're going to do is firstly, give you a breakthrough guarantee where we guarantee results. And if you don't get results, after like minimum participation, our team will personally work with you. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. That means we'll get on calls with you one-on-one, our team, so that we can help you win. Secondly, we'll even let you try out the program for the first 4 lessons completely free. And if there's even like a slight thing you don't like the quality of the Zoom audio, all the lessons are live, we'll give you a refund, okay? So the program is 5 months. Why 5 months? Because we want to deliver what we promise. You cannot do that in 1 month. There are 3 parts to the program, and each part takes about 6 to 7 weeks to deliver. You learn directly from the teachers themselves. With Hookpoint, Brendan brings in one of the top analysts from Hookpoint, but you learn from these teachers, all of these teachers that you saw on this stage. And these are many of the teachers that directly run my company's social media. Safwan helps me with YouTube. Sabrina runs my LinkedIn. Brendan is my key advisor. Prince CA teaches me storytelling. You are learning from my teachers. So I'm actually giving you access to the brains that I trusted to help me build a 100 million in revenue company. Here's how it works. Your commitment is 3 hours a week. As you're going to see, relative to the impact, the price is negligible. But it's 3 hours a week for 5 months. But these 3 hours, odds are you're already applying them to social media, but you're just not doing it in a deliberate way. Odds are you're just already random. Now, there are 2 parts to these 3 hours. The first part is training. The second part is Q&A and workshop, where we go deep with you and we help you implement. And in total, it's 5 months, 3 hours a week with amazing teachers. Did you notice how engaging our teachers were on stage? Like, these were not boring academics. These guys knew how to trigger emotion. They know how to make you stay up till late at night. Some of the people on our Zoom, it's 2 or 3 a.m. where they are, and they are still here. People on the Zoom chat, how did you like the speakers? Fiora is saying, I love the whole weekend. So it's these people who we bring in. In total, it's 44 lessons. Many of you have experienced just a couple of hours. In total, it's 44 lessons. Each lesson is around 1 hour to 90 minutes, and it takes place over 22 weeks. So I'm asking you to invest 22 weeks, 3 hours a week, to go mega deep in mastering social media. Now, we give you guided actions. So what we mean is we teach you exactly how to do things using specific tools. We'll show you how to create a GPT, how to create your own AI intelligence. And as I shared earlier, how I boosted my email revenue by 54% in 1 year. It's not random. It now takes me only 1 hour to write a unique newsletter because I'm using a process for how to craft ideas, process to consolidate ideas, process using AI to turn that into a newsletter. And by the way, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to call up 3 volunteers, and I'm going to actually work with you and teach you these processes. So we're going to do a live demo after I'm done. Now, most importantly, is peer-to-peer learning. I'll go deeper on this in a moment, but we're going to put you connected to 800 additional students who are in the program, so you guys can create a supportive global community. And this is going to be key, as you will see. The future of business is not large teams. It's small companies with founders deeply connected and supporting each other. More on this in a bit. So this is Social Media Mastery. It's a 5-month program, 2 sessions per week for 22 weeks, 44 live sessions, a 3-hour-a-week commitment, but powered by the Mindvalley app, which has been featured this past year in every Apple store, and our global community of incredible individuals, students just like you, like the people in this room, who are there to support you. The program kicks off Jan 27. So before the first half of 2026 is done, you would have nailed this. And this is the live call schedule. So the trainings are Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's at 9 a.m. LA time, very reasonable in the morning. Roughly around 50% plus of our students tend to be American, so we optimize for US time. But even here in Dubai, it's at a manageable time, 9 p.m. Dubai. After you've had dinner, you tune in for the most amazing lecture with implementation by one of our world-class teachers. Now, because we bring in real teachers, people like Brendan Kane, like Dominic, like Marie Folio, their time is so precious, we can only do this once a year. So if you don't sign up right now, it doesn't open up again for another 1 year. And let's talk about the speakers. So first you learn from Marie Folio, one of the original badasses in entrepreneurship. Since 2002, this woman has been building a legendary brand. When she opens up her products, she does $20 million launches. And you learn how to apply these to business, to social media. Prince EA, he teaches you the poetry of storytelling, how to captivate people and speak to their soul. And by the way, if you loved his speech, also know that he is an incredible teacher. I teach you how to leverage AI tools. I actually have a background in computer science from one of the top 5 CS universities in the world. I teach you how to leverage AI tools to make it so easy that it can be a push of the button. You learn my 17-minute to content creation approach. Natalie Ellis, Boss Babe, she's going to show you how to generate real money, real revenue with your business, with your ideas. Brendan Kane comes in with his team to teach you formats. These are the formats that work for coaches. These are the formats that work if you're selling a physical product. These are the formats that work if you want to go viral. Chris Du brings in personal branding. What do people think of you? How do you stand out? How do you speak your truth? What is your phrase, your key phrase? He's actually advising me on these right now. John Lee teaches monetization. This man is genius at going from visibility to money. And who doesn't want that? And Dominic Ashburn. Dominic is an AI god. He's going to teach you how to create visual effects, amazing scripts, storytelling, all with AI tools that anyone can use. But then there are also specialty platforms. Sabrina Stalker is brilliant on LinkedIn, and she shows you how to generate leads, traffic, enterprise sales via LinkedIn. This is so important if you're selling to businesses. And Safwan, he's the brains behind so many great YouTube channels, from Daniel Priestley. He worked with he runs my YouTube channel as well as many other teachers who are prominent on YouTube. If you're an educator, his lessons are so valuable. All of these teachers show up live, but we keep the recordings available for those of you who cannot make the live call or want to rewatch. So you get all the recordings available to you for 2 years. You can, of course, download them. We also give you notes. We give you workbooks with the recordings. Now let's look at what the curriculum looks like, okay? So it's 5 months, and there are 3 transformational modules. So the curriculum goes through a flow, 3 different things you learn about. The first is the creator's blueprint. This is how to build your foundation, your tools, your storytelling, your personal brand. Once you get that, and once we eliminate every single BS excuse in your head to showing up, and by the way, even if you have that right now, and almost all of us do, it's fixable, it's figure-outable. We then go to, now you're creating content predictably, how do you go viral? what will cause your video to take off like crazy. And again, there's a formula for this. Third is the best part for many of you. How many of you here like fat wallets? Raise your hand. Do you like a fat wallet? Do you like money, people? Put yes. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like money, you're going to love part 3 because you're going to learn the monetization philosophy. How do I make $54,000 per email? How does Marie Forleo do a $20 million launch? How does John Lee sell $10,000 products and services? You're going to learn how to go from visibility to bank account. So part 1 is the Creator's Blueprint. These are some of the things we cover. Unshakable confidence, video shooting technique, art of storytelling. We install in you a creator operating system so that it's no longer overwhelming, it's automatic. And you can see some of the results, okay? So Christopher in California went from nothing to 12,000 views on TikTok from just one class. Many of you start seeing remarkable results from just one class. I shared Gavin's story earlier. First viral video, 1 million views. Then we come to part 2. This is somewhere towards the end of month 2. It's Virality Accelerator. This is 11 weeks. Here you learn performance drivers, high-impact content formats. You install AI systems to increase what is called content velocity. You learn how to take one long-form content, turn it into smaller short-form pieces. Okay, self-employed, Heidelberg, Germany. Within just a few weeks, she said, she saw measurable improvements, increased her reach, noticed an increase in qualified views as she went through this program. Now, part 3, monetization. This is where the money comes in. This is where you learn YouTube playbooks to create channels that can do 10 million in revenue. You learn sales funnel. You learn unified multi-platform ecosystems. You learn, and you get a 90-day execution plan to put this into place. And here you can see a couple of case studies that have happened. Shasha Lavatai, she got her first UGC deal on the last day of the class. Erin, she's the yoga instructor. Look at those puppies. Went from 1,000 to 37,000 followers with one video that reached 8.4 million accounts. Catherine, Veronica Kinsley. She, after taking this class, her book hit a #1 bestseller, not just in the US, but in Canada, the UK, and Australia. So if you're a writer, I can tell you social media is what really matters right now if you want to get your book out. Iliana Colare, a teacher in Bologna, Italy, she doubled the enrollments for her course. If you are teaching something, whether it's coaching or some online course or an event, what would it mean to you if you doubled enrollments? That's what's possible with the right leverage of the social media tools. So, in 5 months, you go from this, posting without results, guessing what works, invisible, no system, to content that actually converts, data-backed virality systems. You know how to make it pop. No, you are known as the authority in your field, in your city, in your marketplace, and clients come to you. So before I talk about the investment for this program, I want you to just ask yourself, like, what would it mean to you if you could just crack the social media code? If it was so easy, like any of the teachers out there, what would that look like to you? What would it mean to you if you never have to worry about what to post again? If you learned my formula, for example, where you can generate 100 ideas in one day, just from feeding your brain in a specific way into AI. What would it mean to you if clients were chasing you for opportunities, for attention? When I land in Dubai right now, I get so many offers, I cannot fit them into my schedule. I actually have to pace myself. Why? Because I'm visible. What would it mean if you as a coach had more clients than you could handle? What would it mean for your business, your reputation? What if social media became your biggest asset instead of your biggest headache? What if it was just so easy? And because it's your biggest asset, you're no longer stuck on one business. You can launch a second business. I launched a supplement line. You can launch a third business. I'm launching an AI for longevity counseling because you have a ready-made audience. You are no longer an entrepreneur. You're a serial entrepreneur with multiple routes for passive income. So what I paid Brendan Kane when I hired Brendan Kane to come into my team was approximately $12,000 a month. Okay, so he did 4 calls with us, $3,000 per call. It was $144,000 for 12 months. I showed you the results. Within a few months, I got that video that got 100 million in views. So when I tell you the investment, you may probably think this is going to be quite expensive. Because remember, we're going for founders, we're going for CEOs. You might think it might be $12,000 a month, like what I paid Brendan. Because after all, it's not just one class a month. It's multiple teachers, 2 classes a month. So maybe you might think it's $10,000. Because if you can grow your business by 30% in revenue, $10,000 for a reasonable sized business, that's worth it. Because remember, the knowledge isn't just for 1 month. When you learn this, you don't just apply it in 2026, then in 2027, you forget it. It sticks with you. I've been applying some of these ideas for 22 years. So this is an investment, not just in 2026, it's an investment in your future. So that $10,000 that this could cost, divided by the next 20 years that you might be staying in business. You're investing in your future. Or it could be $8,000, which is the average cost of a similar 5-month program. But because Mindvalley is so vast, we are able to bring in economies of scale and make the price a little bit more accessible. Because we know there are people here in India, in Thailand, in my home country, Malaysia, watching as well. So the investment for the entire program is $4,999. You can go to mindvalley.com/social and you can sign up now. We have space for 800 students. And when we open this program, typically before the end of the year, we sell out. So $4,999. You can also follow that QR code. 5 months, 10 world-class experts. What we want to do, guys, is take you through this incredible degree of hand-holding to turn you into the social media superstar that you're meant to be. Like Jonna, who in social media mastery, okay, she said, I just want to share how grateful I am to Vishen, to Andrew, Brendan, Luke. 19 million views already. So 125,000 people sign up for the summit. We limit the class to 800. Now, why 800? Because it's live teaching with community. It's not recorded. So the students are active on the chat. The students are active in the community. And if we go too big, the community on Zoom just doesn't really feel as cohesive. So we limit it to 800 people. But we also limit it to 800 people because we are guaranteeing results. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. The guarantee is really interesting. If you go through this program and you don't get results, my team will personally get on a call with you and work with you so you get the results you deserve. So we're going to take on that risk so you have nothing to lose. More on that in a moment, okay? So here's where it gets really exciting, all right? The $4,999 doesn't just get you social media mastery. We looked at all of the things that hold people back from really becoming world-class in their field, really getting the attention they deserve. And we wanted to create a bonus stack to make this inevitable for you. Okay, so the first is this. Some of you taking this program might think, well, how could I easily make $5,000 to afford this program? Here's the thing. If you're a solopreneur and you do this program, you actually get a professional certificate and CPD credits. You get a certificate that you can put on social media, on LinkedIn, on social media, showing your qualifications. You also get 120 continuing education credits. Many people take this program. They then go and make their 5K back by consulting to other companies. You can charge $500 an hour to $1,000 an hour. Once you know this format, go help other people. So you're actually getting a certificate that lets you earn your money back. So many of you would already do this for your friends. Knowledge is power. Once you get this knowledge, we don't expect it to stay locked in your brain. So number one, bonus is you get a CPD accreditation and professional certificate that's worth at least $1,000. But then we go further. Great learning happens when you're learning with great people. So we developed an app and a system where all our students can come together. So if you're in Dubai, you can find all the other students in Dubai. You can see who's a coach, who is maybe in industrial production, who is in enterprise sales, and you can create meetups with these students. I'm attending a meetup on Jan 28 in London with our students. The meetup is already sold out, but we have an app where our students meet up, and very frequently our teachers, including myself, show up because I love meeting our students live. So you get to meet other students. But not only that, our students requested this. So we added a new feature where, let's say you are amazing at prompt engineering, but you just really don't know how to generate video, and there's someone else who's great at video. You guys can come together and help each other. So now you save money because the student group becomes this list of allies. Whatever knowledge you don't have, you can trade. So it's a no money exchange type platform, and you can see examples over here. So this platform is launching in a couple of months. Someone can say, I'll help with logo design, I need SEO strategy. Another person says, I can help with Facebook and Instagram ad strategy, what I need is advanced copywriting. All of a sudden, all the frickin' limitations holding your business back cleared up because you have access to 800 committed students. Think about what that can do in your business. And I'm reading the chat, I'm saying this is a no-brainer. The amount is so generous. I want to subscribe today. Someone asked about the Jan 28 London event. Yeah, so I'm as a teacher really committed to meeting my students. I have dinners with my students when I can. So every month, one of my resolutions this year is to go into the community and invite people for coffee. I do it intimately. The Jan 28 event is full because the cafe can only hold 12 people, but I want to hear what people are thinking. So I want you to know our teachers are not like some higher ups whom you never get to actually connect with. All right, next, bonus 3. I got fed up of trying to figure out and remember all of the rules of Instagram or all of the rules of LinkedIn. So I built an AI tool that is fed with all of the best practices, understands all of this, and you're going to get access to this AI tool. So I'll give you my personal AI tool. You can speak out an idea, it'll refine it into a reel. You can then say, give me the Instagram caption in best caption formats for this. It'll give it to you. You can then say, by the way, recut this for LinkedIn. It'll give it to you. You can then say, hey, ask me some other clarifying questions, and I want to create a long-form 20-minute YouTube video. It will do that. You will get my AI. This AI saves me approximately 7 hours a week of content creation. It is fed with pages and pages and pages of well-researched best practices. It is not for the public, but this AI tool, super valuable. It's worth at least $4,000. We give this to all our students. So now you're no longer alone. So the cost to get stuff out suddenly drops like crazy. Many people want to buy this AI tool on its own, but this becomes available to our students. So those are some incredible bonuses. Firstly, the community, the certificate. The certificate means you can just go and figure out a way to make money with this. The community, you now have leverage. You are plugged into so many amazing talents. The AI tool eliminates time and does work for you. All of these bonuses itself, as you can see, crazy valuable. But what we also want to do, we have to pay for a massive amount of cost, flying teachers here from all around the world. So we want to also be able to monetize our platform fast. So what we do is, for those of you who are ready to sign up, like many of the people on the chat, ready to sign up, if you enroll before 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, LA time, 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, which will be, I guess, morning Tuesday for those of you in Dubai, we're going to give you 3 additional bonuses. The first bonus is a personal tool I created to deal with my own BS. So even me, I have situations where I just don't want to post that day, or I just feel something isn't right. Mercury is in retrograde. I go to the cafe and the barista forgot to put the little heart on my coffee and I'm seeing it as a bad omen. I have days like that too. So I created an AI coach based on coaching principles that talks me out of it. It's a coach that actually deals with your BS. You get access to my AI coach. She's really sweet, really pleasant. The only issue is you might fall in love with her because she is so amazing. I almost did. I had to remind myself that she's just an AI. Second, fast track bonus, you get recordings of this summit. So if you enjoyed this summit so far, you're going to get recordings, approximately 10 hours of recordings. Okay, this will be available for you on the Mind Valley platform. That's worth 400. And the final bonus is this. Last year, we launched we had another program which is really relevant for those of you in social media mastery. It's called Learning Mastery. And Learning Mastery teaches you how to learn faster and do things faster. For many entrepreneurs, it gives you back 5 to 8 hours a day. For example, one of the things you learn in Learning Mastery, remember I showed you my AI coach? You learn how to build that yourself. How can you build AI intelligences, AI tools that can help you with anything you want? So you get access to Learning Mastery. Again, all of this is on the Mind Valley platform. Learning Mastery teaches you to learn faster, teaches you brain training, brain health, cognitive practices, as well as AI. $3,000 program, you get this free. Okay, so if you sign up before tomorrow, you won't just get social media mastery, you will get Learning Mastery. So these are all the bonuses worth 10,000. Professional certificate, the access to the community, so now you have access to so many more brains that can help you. Our AI social media tool, the same tool I use, trained with the intelligences I plugged into it. Then you get the social media mindset coach to deal with your BS on days when you don't want to film. You get the summit recordings and you get Learning Mastery. The second set of bonuses is for those of you who sign up tomorrow before 11:59 p.m. because that genuinely helps us. It helps us cover the cost, flying the teachers down. It helps us get our class going, and we really appreciate you for that, right? It's like booking a seat on an airline early, you get better rates. So the fast track bonuses, as a reminder, are available until tomorrow, Monday, 11:59 p.m. LA. That is approximately noon in Dubai. And that's an additional $3,900 in bonuses. So someone said, wait, tomorrow is Sunday. No, tomorrow is Monday. Am I right? Have I been stuck in a bubble here at the Museum of the Future? What day is it today, guys? Today is Sunday. Okay, so you're stuck in a bubble. Tomorrow is Monday. It may be because we have people from all around the world. Okay, so the next thing is, this is a quick summary of everything you're getting for just $4,999. Okay? And we know people are in different parts of the world, different countries, so you also have a payment plan. It's $1,499 a month. Easily, if you run a reasonably sized business, you can get $1,499 back a month in marketing value. Like, the cost is not doing this and staying invisible. Or you can just save $1,000 and get it for $4,999 with all of the bonuses. If you're in the US, you have access to Klarna. This might show up on our checkout for other countries, depending on Klarna policies. This means you can just basically get a consumer loan through Klarna and buy this. Now, if you're a Mind Valley member, you also get $500 off. So if you have access to the app, you can buy it in the app. Another $500 is taken off. And this means you get it for $4,499. And if you go to the website that I'm going to send you to, it will detect if you're a member, if you're logged in, and the price will further go down. So for many of you who are members, it's just $4,499. Okay? Now, I want to share with you some amazing stories from previous students. Kuldeep Vali in Dubai said, help me grow my LinkedIn following from 2,000, so he doubled his LinkedIn following, 63,000 impressions, reached 16,000 members in just a few months. Patricia, my reach is now 2,000% higher from last year, and journalists are now calling me for interviews. This is really cool. Diane Pham in Laguna Beach, after less than 1 year, my financial and mental health improved. I ran into Mind Valley from an ad that kept popping up on my Facebook. Yes, it was an ad from that guy with an accent vision. Thank you. Joanna Cohen, PhD, okay, Denver, US. My platform grew from 96 to 67,000 followers, reaching more than 90 million views and 31% engagement rate. That's crazy. 96 to 67,000. But this is what she said that really resonates with me. I came for the strategy, but what I found was a deeper sense of freedom to create, to connect, to lead with heart. Now, do you think Joanna Cohen's Instagram account is going to stop growing? Do you think she just stops at 96,000 after 5 months? No. She learns it. She has the skills. She can revisit the recording. She has the AI tools. It's going to continue growing for the second half of the year. Most of these testimonials came just after 5 months. All of them got even better results because once you get the knowledge, you repeat it in year 2 and year 3 and year 4 and the next 20 years, however long you want your career to last. So it isn't 5,000 for 1 year. It's 5,000. If you want to continue working for the next 20 years, it's 5,000 that's applied over the next 20. Think about that. Okay, so again, take that QR code to sign up. Now, I want to address one thing. Some of you are thinking, yeah, I know, but what if it works for other people, but it doesn't work for me? We got you, and I hear you, and that's a very, very reasonable question. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to guarantee that it works. Our breakthrough guarantee is this. Watch at least 70% of the lessons. You don't even have to watch all, like 2 out of 3. And the lessons are fun, by the way, guys. You've seen the teacher, so we can monitor your watch rate. Watch 70% of the lessons. Do the homework. The homework is 1 hour a week because we need to know that you're applying this. And if it doesn't work for you, at our cost, we will get in a one-on-one call with you. Okay, we'll get our experts to come on a call with you, and they will coach you and help you and figure out what's broken and make this work. If we have to do 3 calls with you one-on-one, we'll make that happen. But we will get it to work. It's very rare that we cannot get it to work after beyond 3 calls, but we will make it work for you so you know you're protected. By the way, just the calls itself are worth more than the cost of the program. Remember, I was paying Brendan Kane's team $3,000 per call. We're going to give you a breakthrough guarantee. So I hope for those of you who are wondering, will this work? You know that we are so committed to making this work for you, okay? Now, also, some of you may be thinking, yeah, but, what if I sign up and, like, 2 weeks into the program, I decide I don't want to do it anymore, or I need to go on a holiday, or something comes up. That's cool. Anytime in the first 2 weeks, 1 email, full unconditional refund. We want you to feel safe as you go into the program, as you access the Zoom calls. Listen to the quality of the sound, watch the quality of the teaching. I'm going to teach the first call itself because I so want to give you guys incredible value. Anytime in that first 2 weeks, 4 calls. If you feel it isn't right for you, full refund. Okay? And then as you finish the program, because of the breakthrough guarantee, if something didn't work, we will get on calls with you to make it work. Now let me address what some of you might be thinking. I can't afford it. And I hate to use the word, but I know sometimes money can be tight, but this is often a different excuse. It's not that you can't afford it. You can, because this is marketing money. And every business needs marketing. This is not like mindset coaching. Yeah, that's in there. It's not something hypothetical, like teaching you how to say sleep better. It's marketing. And marketing is the art of making money. So if you have to learn the proper way to make money with ease, with predictability, it becomes an investment. And your job is to simply figure out, like, is this an investment worth making? Do I want to be random about my marketing for the rest of my life, or do I actually want to invest in learning? I was able to scale my company, by the way, guys, to over 100 million in revenue with no VC funding, because early on I realized I could give up pieces of my company to an investor and get the golden handcuff, or I could teach myself marketing and make my company make money and never have to take investor capital. And I took the second route. Many entrepreneurs do that. Gives you freedom, gives you power, gives you ownership, gives you something you can pass on to your children. I always like that second route. Teach yourself marketing. Don't beg for investor money. So let's break it down. $499 divided by 5 months is $999 a month, okay? The program comes up to $36 a day for 5 months. That's it. It's the price of lunch. Or in Dubai, I guess maybe it's the price of a croissant and coffee. It's basically the price of lunch a day. So would you pay for a reasonable lunch a day for 5 months to be able to eat steak and caviar for every meal for the rest of your life? That's really what we're talking about. Enroll at mindvalley.com/social. Now, some of you might be thinking, I don't have time. Again, reasonable excuse. Netflix comparison. All of us have time. Okay, social media is already sucking out our time. The average American is spending 17.5 hours a week scrolling through social media and or Netflix. You have time. Just sacrifice TV and mindless consumption time by a little bit. I need to think about it. Maybe, absolutely. And there's no pressure. You can sign up anytime before the seats fill out. Okay, so anytime before, like say Jan 25th, 10 days. Of course, if you sign up tomorrow, you get additional bonuses. But here's the thing about I need to think about it. When you go, I need to think about it, it's another BS excuse that's just going to keep you in randomness. The commitment to this program is a commitment to yourself. It's a commitment to acting. Remember what to action. Remember what I said in day one. The universe rewards intent. So have that intention. Commit to yourself to take this program. So let's look at what specifically do you need to think about. Is it money? No issue. Payment plans are available. Is it time? It's 3 hours a week. We all have that. And this time buys you more freedom in your business. Whether it'll work, you got a 15-day guarantee, and we have a breakthrough guarantee. If it doesn't work, we'll get on calls with you and we'll make it work. And I'm going to show you, by the way, the power of some of these calls in a bit. Am I too late in the game? Guys, I started when I was well past 40. I shared that story with you on day one. Many of our students, if you notice their pictures, our average student age is 50. So if you're 97, maybe you might be too old. I don't know. Maybe there are better things for you to do in life at 97. But if you're over 50, you're just the average age of our student. Some other stories. Naomi Karutsky. This gave me the courage to finally step out from behind the curtain after 31 years of running my matchmaking business behind the scenes. How many of you here love what you do, but have been behind the scenes for decades? The great thing about this program is it transforms how the world sees you. This is not just social media. This is visibility. This is impact. This is power. This is finally being recognized for the good that you do in the world. Okay? Now, what are legitimate reasons to not do it is this. Don't do it if you're not going to show up because it's rooted in community. We want active members in the community. Don't do this if you're looking to get rich quickly. You do learn how to make money, but first you got to learn process, virality, communication, truth, values. Don't do this if you're not willing to put yourself out there, because this is not something that you hire someone to do. This is for the founder, the creator. Okay? And this is everything that you get. And it's over 10,900 in bonuses if you sign up by tomorrow. So remember, the program runs once a year. Because of the cost of bringing in all of these world-class educators. And we can accept 800 people this year. Go to mindvalley.com/social. And remember, you don't have to say yes, you only have to say maybe. Try it out for 15 days. We will also honor the breakthrough guarantee. And go ahead and grab your spot. Thank you, everyone.
life that they love. So if you're sitting there right now and you're saying, I don't have that business yet, or I don't know what my brand is, or I don't know what I'm doing, that's okay because you're learning from so many experts inside the social media mastery and also just here right now listening. So I want to invite you guys to be present in this and really listen. And I want you to know that this is a recording, but there are so many team members in the chat right now live. So if you have questions on anything, please reach out to us and keep sharing with one another because it is that energy that you guys bring and sharing your dreams like I've been watching you do that truly makes this experience so amazing. So I hope you're having fun and we've got one more talk left. So let's tune it over to Vishen and Marie.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm so honored to be sitting here with a woman who has inspired me right from the beginning when I became an entrepreneur. Marie Folio has been at this for 25 years across new platforms, across algorithmic changes, from the rise of Facebook to YouTube to the iPhone. She's had this relentless consistency and built one of the #1 brands out there across social media for entrepreneurship education. So when I was starting out as an entrepreneur, like one of the things I would really look forward to was Marie's big launch. She built such an incredible fan base that once a year she would open up her education and 20 million in revenue would just flow through from people who were so connected to her because of her voice, because of her values. And then she did such a great job nurturing entrepreneurs that this created this incredible viral moment where they would go and tell their friends to follow Marie. So I was one of those people, and Marie had a profound impact on me as an entrepreneur, as a marketer. And when we were thinking about a guest that we wanted to bring on stage who truly represents all of the values, the principles, the insights to really putting yourself out there for the good of the world, Marie Folio was that person.
Thank you so much.
So Marie, I just want to read out some amazing statistics. Marie has had a #1 New York Times bestseller, a brilliant book called Everything is Figureoutable. And if you've read that book, put a yes, yes in the chat. She has been at this for 25 years, and she's had over 109 million views on YouTube. Marie, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for those of you at home. It is such an honor to be here. And Vishen, I adore you. So you know how the iPhone brings up memories? This actually happened randomly. I didn't even get to show this to you, but it was a photo of you and I at a party somewhere in Washington, D.C., probably like 15 years ago.
It was
so.
2010.
Oh,
right.
my gosh. So 2010. So thank you, and thank your incredible team for having us, for hosting us, and for creating this space, because we're going to have a lot of fun today, and we're going to keep having fun to make sure that everyone in this audience and at home, that you get the skills, the encouragement, the strategies that you need to take your businesses and your brands to the next level, being you. Not being any different than you already are, but amplifying the values and the heart and the soul and the essence of the best of you. It's 100% possible. It's more possible now than ever. And Vish and I are going to unpack that.
Thank you, Marie. Now, I also want to stress the reason I have a laptop in front of me is because we have close to 8,000 people online right now.
Come on.
And I'm watching your chat. And so it's so exciting to see, hello, Marion, hello, Linda, hello, Vicky, hello, Esther, hello, Carmen. We can see you. We can see what you're writing. It's so good to have you guys here. So, Marie, let's get started. Now, Marie, you've built a massive platform. And one of the things we wanted to ask you is, when we surveyed our audience, what we found is that the #1 thing holding people back is the fear of being visible, the fear of being seen.
Yes.
People expressed in our survey, 8,600 people answered the survey, and the #1 trend we found is people are terrified
Yes.
of putting themselves out. Did you ever feel that? And what did you do about it?
So I think what's interesting about my story, first of all, I was so insecure when starting my business. And to put this into a time frame context, it was 2001. So social didn't exist yet. However, email did. And the internet and doing anything online was still super, super new. But I was just terrified because I had the fear, like most of us do, of not being good enough. And at that particular time, because again, we're taking it back to 2001, my fear was, oh, I'm too young to be doing this. Who the hell's going to listen to like a 23-year-old life coach? I haven't even, lived any life. But it's that same fear that now I think is really amplified online because of social and because of how easy it is for people to disagree with you, and people are often afraid of being judged or criticized, what your friends and family. How many people resonate with that? Throw some hearts up online, raise your hands here, good. So everyone in the audience now, I would say it's probably 80%, and you can tell me how people are feeling online. So yes, I did feel that, and I have continued to feel that throughout my career, but here's something that I know for sure. That fear will keep you stuck forever. And that fear is not what you can have be the root of your life, your essence, or your impact. And hopefully we're going to unpack some of the ways today that will help you. You're never going to get rid of that fear, because I think that that's something that's primal in so many of us. But here's the thing. If you're not accustomed to posting, sharing regularly, it's like a muscle that you haven't used yet. You're just not comfortable because it's not a regular habit. Does that make sense? And once you get so used to it, so again, I'm 25 years in, it's like, oh, that old little thing, it's like barely even a speed bump anymore. So yes, I had it. We all have it. It's very normal. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to do this. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to share your message and not meant to share your product or your service. There's nothing about it that means that you're not where you should be. It just means that you haven't learned this skill or developed this habit yet.
Now, one of the things I appreciate about you is, well, firstly, not only do you share, but you're genuinely authentic. I've seen you online, and I've partied with you in Washington, D.C., and you're just real. And actually, I want to share a story about how you once terrified me. So what happened was, I was in New York, and I messaged Marie. It was 2008. I'd just become a father, and I was in New York, and I had my baby with me. So I was in one of those, the male baby carriage.
Yes.
So I had this strap, and I had Hayden, my son. He was 1 year old. And Marie agreed to meet me for coffee. Okay, so we met for coffee. This was in a Starbucks. And I introduced myself to you, and I was kind of shaking. I was going to interview Marie for my blog, and I was already nervous. And then you said, "Oh, Hayden, nice to meet you." Now, Hayden was 1 year old. Now, Hayden did not give a damn who Marie was. So Marie's holding a coffee, and Hayden reaches out as a baby and goes, "Eh." And he whacks the coffee, and the coffee spills all over Marie. And now she's drenched in hot coffee. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, my 1 year old just cost me my interview. Marie is going to absolutely hate me. She's going to walk out. And then I turn to you and I go, "Are you okay? Do you need to go back and change?" And Marie, dripping with coffee, and she still smells so good, dripping with coffee, she said, "That's okay. I'm all good. It's just coffee. Let's continue." And I developed so much respect for you that day.
Oh my goodness. It's so funny. I don't even remember the coffee. Like, I don't even remember that happening. I just remember how much love and adoration and respect I had for you. And that's why an event like this is so special. And I want to take this back to what you are doing and what you are building. Here's one of the greatest things that can happen for you from sharing your voice, your ideas, your offers, your products online is the relationships you will develop. So this incredible human and I became connected because of the online world. And I'm here today, all of those years later, and we share so many friends and colleagues and memories. And he's made my life richer in so many ways. And you will have impacts on people that you cannot even imagine, not just them, but their children and their children's children. And that's why you're here. And that's what this whole thing is about. Revenue is great. That's wonderful. Yay, we all love money. I love money. The impact is great. The other opportunities are great, but it comes down to the relationships And it comes down to you making the difference that you were born to make. And we happen to be here in 2026, and social media is one of the primary vehicles you get to use to do that.
So the question I want to ask you is this. One of the summit registrants, so one of the people watching, wrote this in the survey, and I want to read it out. Social media feels like forcing myself to be inauthentic. It drains my energy. Now, Marie, you've managed to build a massive brand that is deeply you. And,
Yes.
and I've seen you on social media. I've seen you in real life.
Yes.
Okay? Drenched in coffee.
Yes.
And it's the same person. How do you stay authentic when the algorithm often seems to reward performance?
Yes. Okay, so this is a great question. And I think it actually comes back to a root of something else that we all share as humans, which is when we're insecure, we are more likely to stray away from our own essence and look towards someone else, compare ourselves, and then try and copy that. Has anyone here ever done anything like that? You look at someone who's successful and you're like, oh, I need to be more like that person or that brand. If this resonates online, please throw some little thumbs up in the chat. Vishen can let me know. That's where I think we all get a little bit off course. Now, having people that you admire is awesome. Not trying to be them, but understanding, oh, wow, they just allow themselves to not have great light and they don't give an F. Or someone who tells jokes or is really humorous, or you can kind of admire the qualities, but you don't want to try and be them. Now, that's a subtle level of discernment, and it's important here, especially because of what you're talking about, this authenticity factor. I always like to think about not only social media, but any creation of content in terms of having just a one-on-one conversation. I often call it the friend filter. Write this down. The friend filter. So prior to AI, I still use this when writing copy because I still really do love to write copy. I'm a wordsmith. The friend filter is how you get any and all of your messaging to actually friggin' sound like you. And a really great way to practice this is if you took out your phone and opened up a new text to an actual friend, to somebody you really, really know, how would you start talking to them? What would you say? So let's say it's around your business, your product, your service, or your offering. And, you know, there was something that you just discovered, you just created that you knew your best friend. My goodness, if they said yes to your product or service, your offer, your lead magnet, whatever it is, it would freaking change their life. Would you be like, hey guys, you know, I was just, or be like, oh my God, you have to hear this. So using the friend filter, if you start to practice with that, it gets you right in your authentic zone, not someone else's authentic zone. So let's talk about the algorithm for a minute, and let's talk about what that rewards. As we know, when you start digging a little bit deeper into the layers under social media, we know this from the studies and from the research and just from observing, is that the algorithm tends to reward things that are very extreme, right? We also know that it tends to reward things sometimes that are negative or outrageous. If that's you naturally, wonderful, go with it. If that's your true essence and that's how you roll in the world, if you're that friend who shows up and just drops some kind of bomb and you watch how other people react, fabulous, be you. But if that feels inauthentic to you, don't effing do it. Doesn't mean that you can't pay attention to tactics like dropping in the middle of a story or not, you know, having this long-winded opening. But there is a way that you show up that is so real to you. And I believe, I'm going to predict this, as we continue into the future with more and more AI, I think people are going to crave the realness. They're going to crave the authenticity that can only come from your essence when you allow that to just be expressed. Again, you'll get better at the tactics as when you go, but I think if you start with the friend filter, pretend that you're actually talking to one person and a friend, that's going to help keep you on that alignment. And the moment you get snookered into what I call Compeerschlager, there was this liquor that I drank when I was in college. It was called Goldschlager. I don't know if anyone ever remembers that. It was terrible. It's clear. It has gold flakes in it. Smells like cinnamon. I wasn't a big drinker, but I did drink too much of that and would do, you know, a couple shots and then wind up throwing up in a corner. And I remember seeing people online in the early days of social and just comparing myself to other people. And I'm like, this is like Compeerschlager. Like if I look around and look at all these other people and how great they're doing and then look at myself and go, oh my God, I'm so shitty. For like 3 or 4 days, I'd have a comparison hangover and I wouldn't do anything productive. So that's why this authenticity piece is so huge. Don't get schnookered into compare schlagers. Use the friend filter. That'll help keep you aligned.
I really like that friend filter
Yes.
concept. Now, you wrote a book called Everything is Figureoutable.
Yes.
And one of the questions we got is this. I have expertise, but I'm paralyzed by what to post.
Yes.
How do you figure that out?
Oh, I think one of the easiest ways to figure out what to post, if you are an expert, is to go with a Q&A format. So I actually started Marie TV as a Q&A in some respects, because the human brain is really designed to answer questions. Have you noticed that? Often when we have dialogues with ourselves, we're like, what should I eat? What should I do? And you're always going back and forth. Anyone with some kind of expertise, you know this. If someone asks you a question, you rarely have talker's block or writer's block, especially if you know the answer. Am I right? How many people in here ever get talker's block if someone asks you a question? You get talker's block? No. I'm sure you're good. You're good. Anywho, take it in a Q&A format. So write down, let's say, the top 25 or 50 questions that you consistently get asked. Here's a great place that if you don't know what those questions are, you could use AI as an assist. If you have a list and an audience already, you can start polling them. You can start talking with people. And so, so many people have struggled with this visibility thing with getting started with their social media. If this is you and this is what you struggle with, here's the quickest fix to help this get an answer or get a solution. Does that make sense?
So what you're saying is, imagine people asking you questions. Look
Yes.
at if you're an expert, look at the biggest questions you're getting. I'm sure
Yes.
there's at least 50.
At least.
And then how would you answer it? Like, let's talk, opening, let's talk time. What does that look like? Let's say I asked you a question. Marie, your book hit #1.
Yes.
What's the first thing I need to do if I want to get a book out?
The first thing you need to do if you want to get a book out, you actually have to decide what your goal for that book is. Is it about visibility? Is it about making money? Is it about hitting the New York Times bestseller list? So I would probably come back with a question, and then that would start to build out, oh, you know what? There's probably 5 things you should ask yourself before you even begin to write a book. In the next series of videos I'm going to do over the 4 weeks or whatever, I'm going to tackle the biggest X, Y, or Z. Let's start with number 1. So now, in today's world of viral videos and social media, is that going to be like, oh my God, it's going to hit and it's going to get 4 million views? Maybe not. But you know what? If you're stuck and you feel paralyzed because you don't know what to post, I don't care about you hitting it out of the park with your first post. I need you getting consistent in sharing content. Does that make sense? So done is better than perfect. So in terms of answering that question, it could be like, so many people ask me about X, Y, and Z, or did you know 70% of people struggle with imposter syndrome? Here's a quick, easy thing you can do to solve that. So don't worry about having the perfect opening or the perfect story or wearing a costume or anything like that if that's not you. I would rather see you get consistent and get momentum, and then you can tweak up all of your tactics and strategies on the top end.
So, we were talking backstage, and Marie shared an insight with me, which I thought was really powerful, and it's something I want to have her repeat to you as well. Marie was talking about why she doesn't like always being on Instagram or Facebook, because that can be toxic, and how she separates the work into 2 pieces. Could you share that with the audience, Marie?
Yes. So for context, I believe this is to be true. Do many of you feel like social media drains your energy? Like it's fucking kryptonite? Sorry, I didn't know if that was bad.
Yeah.
Like it's effing kryptonite? Yes, right? Does anyone here feel like it screws with your mental health from time to time?
Everyone in the chat is saying yes, okay. yes.
So I was in a dance class the other day, and I'm surrounded by business owners everywhere, and I'm going to answer this question very specifically, but she's a super successful business owner, and she confessed to me, she said, Marie, she goes, I think I need to take a break from social media. And she's like, it's really messing with my mental health. And this is a very strong entrepreneur, is a very wonderful woman. And I pulled her aside and I said, she's like, but I'm nervous because all of my revenue comes from social. And I said, we're going to be able to fix that for you. So I am the same way as you. I'm extremely sensitive as an energetic being. I'm extremely empathic. And I would say probably 5, maybe 8 years ago, I started feeling a real disconnection in terms of my own time that I was spending on social media and watching the negative impacts. And I was like, this is not good for me. So here's what I do now. I love creating content. I love supporting people and helping them change their lives in any way that I possibly can. But I create all of the things, shoot the videos, script it, whatever I need to do to make that stuff. And then I hand it off to my team, and they do 99.9% of everything else. When there are special DMs, when there are things that really require my presence and my energy, my team lets me know, and then I go in for what I call commando missions, meaning I'm like a little soldier that goes in for a targeted mission. It usually takes me 5 to 6 minutes to do whatever it is, answer that DM, go take a look at this, be with this person, whatever it is, and then I get out. I cannot tell you what a huge difference that has made for me, my own mental well-being, my emotional well-being. And so for anyone in this audience, I would say to you, the fastest that you can have someone help you set up a system like that, it is going to be worth your time and your energy. The other thing is batch create as much as possible. It's probably one of the biggest secrets to why I'm sitting on this stage today, is because over time I've trained myself to do a lot in a short amount of time and then get out. Again, everyone is built differently. I meet some people that like thrive being online and having a phone in their face all day. God bless those people. I am not one of them. So I think that I love that we're having this conversation, because I am living proof that you do not have to live your entire life online or have a phone stuck to your face to actually continue to make the difference that you were born to make and to be really effective at social media.
Beautiful. Well, I'm looking at the comments. Eddie is saying, brilliant. Love from India. Tamsin is saying, love this advice, Marie. Now, I'm curious. You're so busy.
Yes.
How do you actually find the time to batch create? Is there a minimum effective dose for how much content to create?
I think that's going to be different based on what stage and season of your business that you're at. So it's also going to be different based on what your ambitions are, right? So for some of us, social media is just a necessary channel that we want to use because we know that's where a lot of eyeballs are. That's where our ideal customers are at. That's one of the things that we want to use in order to get our messages out there and to connect with people. Some people might have the ambition to be an influencer, or, we'll talk about Mr. Beast because he's just incredible and amazing. But if that is your aspiration to be of that stature in that world, the minimum effective dose to getting there is going to look a lot different than if you're someone that's running a local massage therapy practice and you want to be really known in your local area and be able to change lives that way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's ever a one-size-fits-all answer to that question. I think it really comes back to having total clarity and honesty with yourself about where you are in your business journey. What are your specific dreams and aspirations? And then being able to reverse engineer back into that. Now, it might take a little experimentation. And I would say if you're at the beginning of your journey, you're probably going to need to do more to get what I like to call escape velocity. Sometimes, if you know anything about rockets, it takes a lot of energy for a rocket to get off the ground and to kind of break through until it gets into space. And once it gets into space, then there's a lot more orbit, there's a lot more ease. So if you're just beginning, you do have to do more in the beginning. But once you get momentum and you get consistency, you can often lighten the load a bit.
Beautifully said. So, big question coming in from the audience. Okay, and the question that I'm seeing in the chat, and it's coming up frequently, is, okay, but how do I overcome my own imposter syndrome?
Oh, this is a good one. So I do know from the research that up to 70% of us from time to time, struggle with feeling like a fraud or a fake or that we're going to be found out. One of the easiest and best ways to sidestep that feeling like a fraud or feeling like an imposter, you want to think about it like this. Your attention is like a spotlight, okay? In any given moment, you're either with your spotlight out on your audience, talking to them about their fears, their frustrations, their dreams, and their aspirations, or that spotlight is focused on you and you're like, oh my God, am I good enough? Are they going to like me? Am I too old and I'm too young? Do I have too many wrinkles? Did I say something stupid? Oh my God. Can't be both at once. So if you want to sidestep imposter syndrome, take that spotlight and have it be directed out. Put all of your attention and energy on the people that you're serving, inspiring, entertaining, making laugh, and let your attention on yourself fade into the background.
They love that response. So when you were starting out, I mean, you obviously, you were just a young 23-year-old coach.
Oh my God, yes. What a hot mess was I. Yes, please.
What were some of the first things you did to start building your incredible fan base?
I think part of it was because I was so insecure. Man, I offered to coach anyone who would allow me to coach them, like my best friends, people that I met. I was bartending at the time, people that I met in the bar. I would coach your pets if you let me. Anything that I could possibly do to grow skills and confidence from a very authentic place to prove mostly to myself that I could actually help people change their lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was like very, very non-scalable. It was very, very one-to-one, hand-to-hand kind of coaching combat. That was the first thing that I did. The other thing that I did well, and this was something that I learned at Coach University, which was the first coach training institute that I knew of in existence kind of before the world of coaching exploded. The one thing they taught me was the fact that if you ever wanted to change potentially thousands or maybe millions of lives, that you couldn't just be a great coach, that you had to also learn how to be a great small business owner. Because you could be the best coach in the world with the best skills, but if you don't know how to attract people to your actual business, you're going to be broke and miserable. In that, I learned about something called email marketing, which was very new at the time. So I was starting to get all of my chops going in the coaching world, and I said, well, I guess this whole email thing is how I'm going to be marketing to these people that I want to change their lives. And that was one of the key pieces of starting to publish content every single week in an email newsletter starting in 2001, and I have never stopped.
Since 2001?
Correct.
Wow. Okay, so I think this is a really important point. Email marketing. So social media is all the rage. You all hear about it. And that's because, companies like Meta, like Google, YouTube, they constantly are telling you how important their platform is and why you need to be on their platform. Obviously, they make money off you. But what not enough people talk about is email. Are you building an email list? Because I can tell you this, 50% of our revenue does not come from social media. It comes from the email list. On social media, the algorithm decides if your message is going to go out. Facebook can throttle you, but email, it's going out. You decide what you want to say. And both me and Marie, we built mega email list. Our email list is 2.5 million. Marie, let's talk about that. I want to go back.
Yes.
Because I think this is of extreme use to people over here. Let's just take a few minutes and let's talk about email. Even though it's not perceived as social media, it is a powerful form of audience building.
It is a powerful form of audience building, and it's still a viable marketing channel if you do it right. And here's what's cool. All the things that we talked about already in terms of your authenticity, right? In terms of you solving problems, in terms of you showing up with that friend filter. Here's what's awesome now, because there are so many platforms and there's so many different ways to reach people, and people are on all of these different platforms that you can reuse and repurpose, and you should be. Because how many people here, like sometimes you're looking at your email and sometimes you're looking at YouTube and sometimes you're looking at social. So email is still really relevant if you do it right. I forgot what you asked me, but I just wanted to emphasize.
I'm curious to know how you think about email. Like, how often do you write to your lists? How do you get people to join your email?
Yes.
How do you go from, say, Instagram to getting an email address?
Oh my gosh, that's some of the most fun things and the fun tools that there are out right now. So for me, I always think about getting everyone back onto the email list. Like, that's where all roads lead back to email, because I want that intimate one-on-one feeling of a conversation. I like to write my emails 99% of the time like they're just a text-based email of me talking to a friend. Does that make sense? And we don't have what's great, as opposed to YouTube, which is awesome, or podcast, or social, of course, which we're talking about now. But it's kind of like being at a really loud rave. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on all around you and people are easily distracted. But when you got them an email, if you know how to write good, compelling copy, it's like you're having a one-on-one conversation and it's quiet. It's like you're in a nice little corner at a party and you're just having this kind of situation. So for me, the baseline has always been once a week. That's the cadence that has felt good to me. I have so many brilliant, smart marketing friends and so many people that run companies and are like, you must email every day. But once again, it comes back to knowing what your goals are. So some of them were trying to build email companies that then they would sell, like a Skim, or there were other kind of daily email newsletter type of businesses. And there's other people who just want to hammer their list every day because that's just the kind of business that they want to build. That's their vibe. It just has never been my vibe. So the way that I think about it is I try and build a business, and whether this is right or wrong, it's just served me, based on how I want to be treated as a customer, how I feel good. And I've liked that once a week cadence. We increase that during launches, but we let people know what's going on. And sometimes if we're running a special 5-day promo, there's going to be 5 emails once a day for 5 days. So I think that there are so many different ways that you can customize it based on what your intention is and whether it's nurture content or a sales cycle. But from a nurture perspective, it's been once a week.
I see. And that's a really important point. I just want to add one thing that we do, because I see this question coming up. How often should you send emails? When someone signs up to our list, it's 20 emails a month. But you can choose to go from, say, 5 emails a week to 3 emails a week or 1 email a week. It's just an option. So you don't have to send, so you send everyone what they request in their permission settings. So if you feel some of your mega fans might like 5 emails a week, others may want 1 a week, but with any email type service you use, you can set those in the settings. So Marie, when it comes to launches,
yes,
you're well known for your launches. So when Marie does a launch, and she was doing her launch once a year, she would generate 20 million in revenue from her fan base. She would make them wait. She was not perpetually selling. She would make them wait, and then boom, she opens up her program, 20 million. I remember when I saw that, I was blown away. It was so inspiring. Take us through that launch process. How do you go from building an audience to generating revenue?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that was all based on just my desire that I actually just wanted to help people. So this comes back to our program that's called B School, Online Business School, for those who want to make money and change the world. And I remember just understanding the fact that I was just starting out when I built this program, and that I didn't have a huge audience. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to get other people to talk about this? And it was like, oh, affiliate marketing, and saying, great, if you introduce this offer to your audience, I am happy to pay you half, 50% of what the tuition was, because I know how hard it is to actually build an audience. And I knew how great my product was, but I wanted to reward people that were willing to share about it. And I wanted to do it in a way where they felt good, where everything was just really transparent. So that wasn't born. That whole thing didn't happen because I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to make, $20 million in 2 weeks. It only came about because I was so committed to trying to change as many lives as possible by getting B School exposed to as many lives as possible. And I knew that the way to do that was through having the right partners, having partners where there was a value alignment, where the people who their audience that they've already built, had the same type of values in terms of building a business that was rooted in integrity and heart and wanting to actually make a difference and not looking at your customers as just numbers on the bottom of a balance sheet. So all of that came through that one-on-one relationship building. And then we just wanted to have fun. We wanted to have a really great time and change a lot of lives. And I think I was around in a very special moment because at that time, there wasn't a lot of small business education. And even though none of my content was gender specific, because there wasn't a lot of women in the space at that time, it was really beautiful because there was a lot of people like, oh, wow, there's this program and it was created by a woman and there's a bunch of women supporting it. Like, it was really unique and special.
So what was that first hump that you had to overcome to really tell yourself, okay, I'm qualified to teach this?
Yes.
Because you were in your mid-20s when you started.
Yes.
There must have been some self-doubt.
There was like endless self-doubt. I think for me, so much of the growth that I've experienced in my life has come out of failure, pain, and screwing things up. So well before B School, I figured out that in order to reach the financial goals that I had for myself in my personal life, that it was never going to happen teaching and coaching one-on-one. There was obviously a limit to the amount of hours that I could coach people in the day, and there was a limit to the amount of people that I could coach in a week, and you can kind of do the math. And when I learned about going from one-to-one to one-to-many, I did my first group program, which was called Productivity Secrets for Creative Entrepreneurs. And I remember just selling to, I think it was 40 people who said yes, and I was like, what? 40 people said yes? And it was just the most mind-blowing thing in the world. That was all the predecessor to well before we did anything with B School. But I'll tell you this, because I had been teaching personal development for the first really long stretch of my career, I was terrified to start teaching about business. Even though I knew a lot about it, even though I was really good at it, I felt like such a fraud. And I had been coaching and doing these things for like 7 years. But once B School came around, I was terrified again, and I did that spotlight method. I said, either I'm going to sit here like a scaredy little cat and be worried about, oh, what do people think of me? Or I said, I can go out and change some freaking lives. And I took that spotlight and I put it out, and I put all my focus on changing people's lives and tried to take as much attention off of myself as I possibly could. That was the only way I got through it.
So, speaking of courses, how are you leveraging AI right now? Because there are people out there who are saying in this era of AI, people don't want courses anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's really valid. I think it's a very open question. Here's what I see. So one, in terms of B School, I'm so excited. We were talking about this. Vishen and I were having yogurt together this morning, and we were having a really good time. This is going to be the first year that we have AI built into B School, so I'm super excited about it because I do believe that it can help us all get through some speed bumps, especially around like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? People have a lot of self-doubt because they can't really see something come to life, and so I think AI can be a real leverage. It can be a real advantage to gaining speed, but what I don't want to see it do is diminish your ability to create and think for yourself. You have to stay really, really smart as we go along. It's just like muscles. It's either use it or lose it. And when it comes to copy, when it comes to ideation, when it comes to using your instincts as an entrepreneur, do not outsource everything to AI. I really believe that with my heart and soul. And I think the brands that are going to win are going to understand how to use AI to amplify their humanity, not dumb it down. So that's one thing. In terms of courses, which was what your question was about, here's what I think. I think now more than ever, it's going to be about being smart, specific, and small, and not general, right? So I think that I was able to hit it out of the park with B School, and I'm grateful for all that. But moving forward, I think courses are going to work that are very targeted and very specific for people and solving a very specific problem and making them smaller, not bigger.
Thank you, Marie. So as we come to the final 10 minutes of this, what I want to do is I want to take your questions. And I posted a picture of me and Marie having breakfast this morning, and I asked the audience to submit questions on Instagram. So I want to ask you some of the questions that came in from our Instagram audience. Okay, so first, Marilee Luick asks, what is your primary focus? And do you think it's important to pay attention to energy as well?
What's my primary focus, and do I think it's...
On a day-to-day basis.
Oh, okay, Great. Personally, I'm coming out of 2.5 years that have probably been the toughest 2.5 years of my life. This is something on the personal side, but it does answer her question. Mm-hmm. It was because a few years ago, I had both of my parents, who, God bless, are still alive, have extraordinary traumatic health crises both at once. So I was thrown in an instant into a caregiver kind of position, and it threw our whole family kind of upside down. So my primary focus right now is actually resetting my own nervous system, because it was so dysregulated from all of that. And I know that that's not maybe what that person was expecting the answer to be, but it's just the truth, which is why I'm so excited and happy to be here with you all. What was the second part of her question?
So the second part of the question is it important to work on your energy?
Yes. So perfect follow-up there. Here's the thing. You as a business owner, you are your most important asset in your business. And there's no amount of strategy, there's no amount of tactics, there's no amount of push, and there's honestly no amount of money that's going to make anything better if you're not right with you. If you don't have your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health in a place where you feel really strong. Here's how I think about myself, especially as it relates to social and it relates to the business. And I tell my team this: because I am a personal brand, I am the golden goose, right? The golden goose needs to be protected. And because of the last 2.5 years of what I've been through with my family, I was like, the golden goose, she needs a break. She needs to get her nervous system back in alignment. She needs to make sure that all the systems are set up so that all of the things that I have yet to create can come to life. And they can come to life in a way that isn't at the expense of my soul and my being. So I think energy is really, really important. And this is the other thing, and I feel confident about being able to say this from the position of having done this for 25 years, is pace yourself. Pace yourself. There is enough time. We know that both life is long and short. And I think in many respects, I've watched people burn themselves out because they push so hard, because they want to reach these enormous goals, because they're really coming from a place of fear. And I want you to understand that nothing that is meant for you is ever going to pass by you. So pace yourself. It's okay to take it slow. You're going to get exactly where you need to get to.
The audience here live really loved that response. And even the online audience is saying phenomenal, and people are putting a lot of hearts. Okay, so here's another question, and this is from Riti Jatania. Could you give me one advice to get started for someone to make their first income online?
Oh, to make their first income online. Well, there are so many ways we can tackle this. Like, this is one of those examples where I wish I could have this person right here with me, because as the coach, I'm like, I've got 10 million questions to ask them. So I think really it comes back to, what are you looking to create? Is it about the thrill of having that first amount of money online? Because honestly, you could do that pretty quickly. You know, there's people that've got all kinds of fetishes about feet, and all, so you could be like, hey, do you want to see my feet? Here's $5. And you, all that can happen really fast. However, if the answer to what you're really looking to, I love that this one cracked Vision up. He's like, I did not see that one coming. If the real answer is that you're looking to build a business, or you're looking to validate the possibility that you have an idea for a course or a product or a service, there's going to be a much different answer. I would say, hey, step one might be talk to 100 people who have the kind of problem that you think that you can solve, and help them solve that problem for free, or an aspect of it. So you can talk to people in DMs, you can go to conferences, there's so many different ways, but that would be the most genuine route to understanding how to make money with integrity online, and then building something that has sustainability and that can last.
Now, last question is from Sophia Mooks. As a therapist today, I can't find enough clients. How did Marie do it?
Oh my gosh, I did it hand-to-hand combat when I was like bartending and teaching fitness and doing all these things. Do you guys know I taught striptease classes while I was, yes, I did. I was running around with a feather, but yes, I will take that all day long. For those of you at home, there's someone in the audience just going like this. I'm like, this is one of my favorite moves ever. Anyway, I would pick up clients anywhere that I could find them. So bartending, right? People would be like, oh, so when you're not bartending, are you also an actress? I'm like, I'm a life coach. Here is my mailing list. It was on a yellow legal pad. I'm like, are there any challenges or problems that you really want to work on? Because I bet you I could help you with that. So I would literally go, I was shameless about finding people any place I can find them. And I honestly think that approach still works. There is no shame when you are trying to help people and you have a gift and it could transform their lives. Do not be shy about sharing it.
That's beautiful. Audience online. Stephanie is saying, LOL, cool. Laura is saying, love this content. Vicky is saying, amazing idea. I have really good feet.
Can I just say something really fast? How close are we on time?
We have about 7 minutes.
Okay, great. I want to say that when we were talking about doing this together, and when I was talking about being here, literally, I was like, OMG, there is so much that I have to share and teach that I was really excited. I don't know if we could talk a little bit about social media mastery right now, because all of the questions that we're talking about, some of the struggles that come up, I'm like, I could talk about this for hours. Like, I have so many solutions and so many tactics and so many things that have worked for me that I want to pass on to you. So I'm really honored that I get to teach in Vision and Mind Valley's program called Social Media Mastery. I just want to say that. So
Thank
if
you,
anyone's
Marie.
like digging on this and you're like, but I want more, I'm like, yes, we're going to dig in so much deeper.
Thank you, Marie. Yeah, just a quick explainer there. So Mind Valley has two different learning models. We have our app. Our app this past year was featured in every Apple store in the world, 200,000 stores. It's one of the foremost apps for learning and development. And on our app, we have a lot of amazing content. But we also have a university called the Mind Valley Academy, mindvalley.com Academy. And one of our most popular programs is a 5-month micro degree where we help entrepreneurs really nail social media. The degree takes off once a year. It's starting in about 2 weeks. Marie and all the other teachers you see on stage are part of the curriculum. So you learn from these incredible minds in a cohesive system, and in 5 months you become a social media superstar. More on that tomorrow. So Marie, what I'd like to do now is I want to ask you some fast questions.
Yes.
Okay? So first one, complete the sentence for our audience. The thing about fear is...
It's never going to leave you. It's a myth that it's going to go away someday when you get 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 followers. That shit is going to be with you for life. That's how you know you're alive. So don't try and get rid of it.
Okay, on authenticity, if you had to tweet your philosophy on authentic personal branding, what would that tweet say?
Keep it real and have fun. That's it.
Not bad.
I'm not a big tweeter, but I like it got 7 claps. That's great.
What's one question someone should ask themselves before they post anything?
Are you going to be proud of what you are about to post 20 years from now? And would it be cool if what you're about to post was on the cover of the New York Times?
Ooh.
Because sometimes, listen, y'all know this, right? This is what we were talking about, and we're going to try and keep it fast. But you can compare yourself, or you see someone go viral for something, and they're getting so outrageous, or they're crying in the camera, right? And if that's not you, don't do that shit. And here's another big important thing, especially on social, because you know things can get heated from now and again. Do not post when you are emotionally charged, and you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You could have X amount of likes and hearts and everybody cheering on for what you shared, and you got that one person that comes in hot, and if you're Italian or you're some fiery ethnicity like me, and I'm like, oh, Jersey Marie's coming out, and somebody's going to get cut. Like, I can hear it and feel it all in there, and you guys know, right? You've seen stuff kind of erupt online. Never, ever post in that state. Never, ever post. Put the keyboard down, put your phone down, go to sleep. But that one thing before you post anything, are you going to be proud of this in 20 years? And would it be okay if this was on the cover of the New York Times? Yes, front page.
Thank you, Marie. So, 2 final questions. You admitted publicly that you have horrible days, and you used the word that I cannot say on stage here, and get mired in fear and self-doubt. For someone watching you right now who's terrified to post their first video or put themselves out, what would you say to them from a place of shared compassion and humanity?
If they were terrified to put their first post out?
And they were just having a miserable day.
Oh my God. Okay. First, I would help them get out of that feeling and that state, and I would have them listen to some incredible music. And because I'm a dancer, I would have them dance and just shake all those vibes off. I guarantee when you change how your body's moving, and especially I think music is a miracle. I think it's such a transformative force. They would be able to create something in a much different energetic state and be really proud to post it.
What's your favorite soundtrack?
That's a really great question.
Is there a Spotify Marie playlist we can subscribe to get your energy?
I feel like I need to create one. Because I am a child, I grew up in the 90s. Like, I just don't think late 90s, early 2000s hip hop, it doesn't get any better. So I will go back to any of those playlists and I'm just like in a totally different world. I'm like, watch out. So you can search for any of that, but I'll make one for you.
Okay, I'm going to go further. Go-to song to energize you.
The go-tos. You know what one really gets me going sometimes, especially in this context? Do you guys know, let's get down to business. Give me one more night, right? That one? Oh my God. I'm just like, what? Where are my glow sticks? Get something in my hand now.
I love that. Mine is Missy Elliott, Get Your Freak On.
Ooh.
Classic. Okay.
I don't know why this is not turning into a social media whole dance
those
thing.
Those in the chat, I want you to post your song that picks you up, energizes you. When you hear this song, it brings you back into the right mood. Post it in the chat. And Mind Valley team, can we build a Spotify playlist on this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, final question, Marie.
Yes.
If you could go back in time, okay, and see the Marie who was 23 years old, who was bartending, trying to build her business, having occasional doubts, not knowing what you know right now about social media and branding, what advice would you give this younger version of you?
I would tell her to have so much fun on the ride and to keep going. And to any time she felt like she wanted to quit, I would tell her to hang in there because it's going to get better than you could possibly imagine. To let yourself cry and be frustrated and all those things, but as quickly as possible to get right back up and keep going.
Thank you, Marie. Please give a big round of applause to Marie Folio.
Insights. Thank you all for participating in the chat. I'm loving some of these. Walk with me, unstoppable, daddy cool. Don't know that one. So many amazing things here. And it's so true how music can just change everything. And I hope that you guys took so much away from this. Marie and Vishen, this conversation was incredible. Some highlights for me is put your attention on the people you are serving. You know, so many times we don't do things. We don't share. Just like Maria was saying, we don't post, we don't do things because we're thinking about ourselves. But when we can stop doing that and put our attention on the people we are serving, I love it. Changing focus on changing people's lives. And that really goes into what Vishen started talking about at the very beginning of this, visibility. And sometimes the wrong voices have the loudest microphone. And when we can be thinking about others and how we can serve, we can get that mic in our hands and share and do it through love. If you guys remember, that was the last principle that Prince EA talked about, is love is the greatest thing that we have. And I loved his example of the kids in the Special Olympics race and how when one fell, they went back for him. And that's what it's all about. It's about lifting each other up. And so I really hope that this highlights them, it gave you some clarity on what it is that you wish to share in the world. And that's what this is all about. You get clear on what your mission is, on what your product is, about your coaching, your business, your voice is, and then let the experts inside of the social media mastery help you bring that to the world. As Prince said, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be an expert in everything. Learn what's working and do that. And in this case, learn the tools, learn the information, learn the knowledge that they have, and be able to apply that to your life. So I hope that you learned so much on this Highlight Summit. And for those of you that choose to join the Mastery program, please know again that there's a 15-day money back guarantee, that the discount, the early bird discount ends tomorrow, and that there are actually less, since this aired, way less than half of the spots left. So if that is something that you are excited about learning social media, and from Marie Forleo, from Vishen, from Brendan Kane, from Prince EA, and so many other experts like Natalie Ellis from Boss Babe, Dominic Ashburn, so many other people that weren't even on this highlight but are going to be part of this program, then please know that that is open, that there is team members you can talk to, and we would love to have you in it. If you are on the edge and you're not sure about social media, I just want to encourage you to please know it is so important for you to share your light with the world, to share the way that your heart is looking to express, and in that process to help other people, because that's truly what this is all about. So thank you guys so much for joining us here at Mindvalley's Social Media Highlight Summit. Again, my name is Caitlin O'Toole, and we look to see you guys inside of the program or at the next event. You guys all have a beautiful day, beautiful night, and we'll see you next time.